In my career collecting for the city and for the museums around here, we have occasionally run into interesting characters. And I'm not sure if charlatan is the right word exactly. Maybe in some cases it's too kind, in other cases it might be a little harsh. But we have had a number of incidents. I remember a gentleman once claiming that he had a skeleton of a Chinese slave girl that he had found that he said was snuck through through a tunnel in the levee. Well, that would have been impossible in the time period because the levee is it would have been underwater if there had been a tunnel through the levee. And he said he found it in a sub basement, but there was no sub basements in those buildings that he was talking about in the 1850s. And the body was completely wired up, and it became really apparent that it really wasn't quite right when it had a University of California serial number on it. But he was hanging to his story to the bitter end. Another person came in and tried to sell me a two-headed calf for the science museum, and when I looked at it and you looked at the pictures carefully, you could see the stitch marks where they sewed the second head on the shoulder of the other one. And then there was another incident I loved. A guy came in and wanted to give me a collection he had. He had a Wells Fargo box, which was absolutely stunning, and I wanted the box. But the deal was I had to take the other things with it. And there were two things that were with it that just didn't seem right. One was he had a shoe that he said was thrown off the first horse of the Pony Express going east from Sacramento. And I queried the guy quite a bit about it and found out he found this in his yard, which was a long ways from J Street, which is where the pony went up. But I just didn't have the heart to tell him the guy, this was not a horseshoe, this was a shoe off an oxen. But the other issue he had is he had this sword he wanted me to have, which he said came from the demise of Three Finger Jack's fingers. And Three Finger Jack was a notorious, some say outlaw, some would say romantic bandit, associated with Joaquin Murrieta. And he was captured up, I think, in the lower end of the San Joaquin Valley. Well, unfortunately, the sword was made in the 1890s. It was a French bayonet, actually, and Three Finger Jack's finger has been in a pickle jar for quite a long time in San Francisco already. So it was just a story, and there are a lot of them like that occasionally happen. Most people are very, very honest that we deal with, but occasionally we get one that just can't help but embellish a good story.